Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastard. But mean bastard, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Ridiculous. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Hello, welcome to episode 53 of the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, aka Hero Protagonist, aka the true father of Joe's kids, aka Papi Chulo, aka the Glizzy King, aka Mr. Krusty, aka the Lethal Protector, aka my biggest pet peeve is sports, cause I don't like seeing grown men sweat on each other, aka I want a Subaru Outback so I can have mad strippers in the back giving shape-ups, aka Rough McGruff, aka D's Nuts, aka B-Wood, the Magnificent. And I'm joined here once again by...
Hey, yo, I'm back. It's Jeff Stewart, aka Uncle Jeffrey, aka J. Otis Dynamite, aka Revengeman Button, aka He Who Remains, aka Patty Ruxpin, aka Jobu Tupaki, aka That Motherfucker, aka To Be Determined.
All right, so let's jump right into some news. As you guys know, we talked about it on the show before. Joker Folie à Deux is currently in pre-production, and before Jeff went on, right when Jeff went on a brief hiatus to do some other things, they announced that Lady Gaga is basically almost signed, sealed, deliver on the dotted line for playing Harley Quinn. And when that news came out, it was announced that this movie is going to be a musical. And that is my type of crazy. That's my type of insane. It sounds fucking nuts. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but like, I'm excited to see this shit now.
Yeah, it may not be good. But it'll be interesting, at least. At least the music will be awesome, because I know Lady Gaga's probably going to have her hands all over that shit. So, I mean, hey, no one thought that Todd Phillips was going to be able to pull off his take of the Joker. So, yeah, why not? I'm here for it. Let's see.
So, with that, our only other piece of news is... I saw this about 5 hours before Jeff sent me the link. It's come out that, and I'm not surprised by this, just because of the whole shit with the Oscars, bots are the ones who drove the Snyder Cut. Not all of them, but most of them were bots.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not surprising at all. It's kind of disheartening in a lot of different ways, because if you go ahead and read the Rolling Stone article, the fan base is still mad toxic, right? So it'd be one thing if it was just like a whole bunch of just racist robots doing this shit, but they're in the mix. There are some real top tier assholes driving this, and it's we don't know who spearheaded this. I don't know. No one's accusing Zack Snyder of, doing this, but he didn't help.
I want to say that it was, as we said before, it was like either the first or second episode after we did the Snyder Cut review. It didn't move the needle in HBO Max subscriptions. And then come to find out, about a week ago, I found out that the Snyder Cut, people who watched it, in that first week, it was viewed by estimate like 20 million people, which is not good for something they spent $70, $80 million on.
Right.
Half of them started it and didn't even finish it. And then they said more than half who didn't finish only got a quarter of the way through and stopped watching.
because it's 18 hours long. I mean, it is an exercise in hubris.
It is
You know?
I said it before, I'll say it again. It is a slightly longer version of the movie we got. It's better than the movie we got, but it's still not a good movie.
Right. There's enough different to kind of justify watching it from a purely academic standpoint, but like the story beats are all the same. Like everything is the same. It's just longer and more bloated and with more Nordic singing.
It went from being a fucking shit movie to just being a bad movie. So, I mean,
So I guess they win, I guess. Is that a win?
I don't know, but my problem is with the Rolling Stone article, there's some shit in there that is very, very dangerous. And this is for Snyder himself, because it really paints how big of a piece of shit this dude is, that he threatened to weaponize his fan base on social media if Geoff Johns and John Berg didn't remove their names off of his cut of the movie.
Right, and that's not buried in the midst of the article. That's the first paragraph. That's how they start the article. Is painting Snyder as a bully. I
mean, a dude weaponizing bot accounts with the most extreme, like, belligerent corners of the internet and fandom in general to get his way really does set a terrifying precedent going forward, which means any douchebag director who doesn't get their way can now just go on the internet and be like, why don't we all get together and just bully this studio? Because, I mean, he did. I'm not going to lie about this. He did weaponize the fan base to get this movie released.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We're treading on Harry Knowles territory. We're treading on that early 2000s sort of movement where the fan base or fans are controlling what content we see and how it's produced, and in some, viewer feedback is great sometimes, but it shouldn't be the litmus, it shouldn't be like, you shouldn't be able to bully a studio into doing something that you don't like. You like to do something that you like just because you can, and it's just not the Snyder fans and stuff like that. I think it's
Marvel and Star Wars too.
Right, Marvel, Star Wars. It's comic book fans in general. I see it online, like from my Facebook friends and stuff like that, and my real life friends, that they hate things. Like they hate these interpretations of their favorite characters because it's not exactly like it was in the comic books, and that's dangerous territory. It's just like it's give it the way I want it right now, otherwise it's a piece of shit. Like I had this conversation with many people over the Batman, right? A lot of people that I've talked to didn't like the Batman because it wasn't their Batman, but they never looked at it as a piece of art as itself. Like if you take Batman out of the equation, if it was just basic bitch detective, was it a good movie? Yes, it was. It's just because it's not my Batman. It's not the interpretation I'm used to.
You know what?
I'm gonna fucking hate it.
You know what? They got to shut the fuck up about that just because I'm tired of hearing that. We've had now so many different iterations of one character that at this point you could pick and choose what you like, and then there's going to be shit you don't like. I fuck with the original Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman. I don't really fuck with Batman Returns. I fuck with Batman Forever. Don't really fuck with Batman and Robin. I fuck with Christopher Nolan's Batman. Don't fuck with Ben Affleck's Batman. So, I mean, you could pick and choose. Just
right.
Pick and choose what you like.
Right. But you got to look, but like, I think that's the problem that we're all running into. We're not looking at these movies in general as on their own artistic merit. We're getting mad just because like, well, Reed Richards' costume and, in the last Doctor Strange movie wasn't exactly like it. It wasn't comic book accurate. So.
Oh, and to speak of that, apparently, Penn Badgley is going to be Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm just like,
all right.
Y'all threw a bone to the fans with John Krasinski, and instead of like moving forward and trying to build the character and like make his performance better, and he's a good director, maybe have him direct the movie since you guys can't find anybody to direct this shit, and the person that is rumored to be directing is not ever going to make a fucking Marvel film. Ever.
Right.
Yeah. I sure.
Yeah. Like,
the person rumored to be doing Fantastic Four is Steven Spielberg. And I was like, there's no way in hell Spielberg will do a fucking Marvel movie just because, like, that's the Marvel's number one problem is Kevin can't let go.
Right.
A lot of these movies would be better if he honestly took a fucking back seat.
Right. Like, here's the story. Go with it. That's it. Step back, because we've almost exhausted this horse that the TV universe is far outpacing the cinematic universe.
And I would say even the TV universe has had some misses. And one of the TV shows has honestly been made worse by one of the fucking movies. Like, I didn't really enjoy it that much before, and now it's just even worse because a movie was connected to. I'm like, bro, in retrospect, this was all just a big waste of fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
That was like 14 hours. That's just waste.
Right, because you fucked the character. Like, all the goodwill and everything like that. And I was rewatching a lot of these Marvel movies in my downtime, and I'm like, wow, they really fucked Wanda. Like, they fucked her character.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to timing on these movies and TV shows, because WandaVision was supposed to be the third or second show. It ended up being the first show. Spider-Man was supposed to be after Doctor Strange, and really, in retrospect, it probably should have came after Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange got fucked by two things coming before it that really should have came after it. Yeah. So for those of you listening, a spoiler review for Thor next episode. So there you go. Not this episode, next episode. I'm looking at you, Black Panther. Like,
what do you got? Yeah.
I like Thor, but at the same time, I'm just like, it feels too little, too late, and I got some problems with Thor because I've seen it twice now, and we'll get into it next time.
Yeah, I got a bunch of shit to catch up on. So,
all right. So, Jeff, what have you watched lately?
What are you watching?
All right. So let me just get this out of the way and say this. I watched the Netflix Resident Evil show.
Oh, I only watched the first 2 episodes and then I pulled out just because the main character is so unlikable and most of that shit is her fault. I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. It is a piece of shit. It makes me feel sorry for Lance Reddick because this is his first starring TV show, right? Like he's one of the main leads. And they neutered his character. They in fan service because he plays Albert Wesker, who, if you're a fan of the video games or have seen the movies, whatever like that, Albert Wesker is the main villain throughout the whole entire Resident Evil verse. They like in the movies and in the all of the video games, he's a white dude. They got Lance Reddick in there. Cool. I don't care. But the character is dumb. They got this nigga looking like Blade in some of these episodes. I'm glad you pulled out before they showed old school Albert Wesker. Because, it straight up looks like Wesley Snipes' Blade in some of these episodes. The show, it looks expensive, but it feels cheap. It feels like TV.
That's Netflix. It looks expensive, but it also looks cheap at the same time.
Yeah, like you said, the main character, everything's her fault. Her and her twins, her and her twin, blah blah blah. It's their fault that everything happened in the beginning, in the past, and in the present, or which is the future. It is, yeah, like character motivations are all over the place. You don't feel sorry for anybody because they're all just making dumb choices, right? I feel bad for Lance Reddick because, you know, like I said, like I love anything that he's in because he just brings so much class and gravitas to a role. But this, like, they got him playing like clones of himself. It's real. It's real all over the place. It's real fan servicey. Like they shoehorned fucking things in from the video games that didn't need to happen. You know?
My main thing watching the first 2 episodes and after just saying, you know what, I'm good. My main question is, why didn't Sony just put the kibosh in this? Because they had a halfway decent reboot in November. Like that movie wasn't bad. It was entertaining for what it is. It ain't a masterpiece. It's something you could just watch and just be like, okay, that was cool. It's an hour and a half. Don't need to think about it. And I'm out.
Right. I watched Welcome to Raccoon City 3 times just because, like you said, it's not a great movie, but I fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah, like that, I thought that was the beginning of a new franchise. I was like, all right, let's do it. And apparently they're still making a sequel to it. So my question is, why do this show?
Right. Right. Well, you know, because everyone's got to get a Netflix show now. Everyone's got to put these IPs on TV, which it's TV. And I get it's supposed to be a TV show, but it felt like a Canadian production. It felt like a knockoff. It felt like when Netflix first started doing these original TV shows, like there was one called Hemlock Grove.
Yeah, I only saw the first episode of that too.
Yeah, I got 2 episodes of that. I was like, nah, never mind. But it felt like that. It felt fucking like they spent a lot of money to not show you anything. And that's Resident Evil. Like, so if you're a Resident Evil fan, you know, I'm sorry. You know, because I love the video games, man. Like, I've been playing the video games for the last fucking 25 years. This isn't it. Like, honestly, the best interpretation of the Resident Evil video game property was last year's Welcome to Raccoon City. Honestly.
And you know, like,
and that's a low bar.
Yeah. It's not like bar. It's entertaining because like Jeff said, the Paul W.S. Anderson movies are just flat out not good. I don't like a single. I haven't seen them all, but I saw like the first 3 or 4 and I just didn't like them. There's like 6 of those motherfuckers.
Right.
This one, I thought it was nice. It was entertaining. It's an hour and a half and that's it. This new one, I was like, and it bothers me that also the girl was getting bullied, like mercifully bullied for no fucking reason.
Right. And, I mean, in any, let's get into that. I wish someone would write teenagers well, because there's only in these shows, there's only 2 modes for teenagers, like fucking saint or just dickbag. There's no nuance in any of these fucking characters. Like when it comes to teenagers, like especially teenage girls.
And you know what, man, the writers are showing their age too, because the cliched ways they're writing bullies, I'm like, you guys could do this better. Like the Black Phone had bullies in it, and at least I understood the bullying in that.
Right.
And this shit here, it just feels like a bunch of men in their 40s watched a lot of 80s movies and like, all right, high school bully. It's like the stock high school bully just recycled over and over and over and over.
Except for, like, you know, this time, instead of, you know, a blonde white female, It's an Indian girl with a skull cap.
And she has no fucking friends. That's why I'm like, why are you bullying this bitch for no reason? You're always by yourself anyway.
Like, yeah.
And then she gets fucked up in the face. She gets like a couple of hits to the face, and then she makes a big deal out of it.
It's like, bitch, you've been terrorizing this bitch since the jump. Everybody can see it. Why are you gonna call your dad now?
And that's the only part of the show I liked, was when Lance Reddick went in like a fucking pimp daddy, sat down. It's just like,
Lance Reddick. That's the one I wanted.
He looked over at this nigga. It was just like, yo, who are you? And he tells him, he's like, you know who I am? And he's like, no. He's like, yeah, I'm Arthur Wexler. And he's just like, oh, what? He's like, what do you do? Oh, I'm IT. He's like, yeah, 1 million people could do your job. You know how many people could do my job? Just me. So what's it going to be? You want to lose your job, or you want to drop this whole thing? And then I love how he turns to the daughter. Is like, yo, I heard you've been bullying my daughter. How about you apologize to her? And she gives that half-ass sorry that kids always do, because I see this firsthand. Sorry. And then he's like, nah.
Not give it a real one. Make it real.
A real one, unless you want some problems.
Yeah.
I hope I get that powerful in life, because then I'd walk out of the room and be like, I forgot to tell you, I'm firing you anyway. And just keep walking.
Yeah. So like that honestly was one of the highlights of this 8 or 10 or 30 episode show, because it went on fucking forever. Jesus Christ. But yeah. So Netflix, you did it again. You did.
You know, we got another Netflix shit to review for next episode too, right?
The Gray Man, right?
I got invited to a screening for that shit, and I was just like, I'm not going. I'm not traveling to see this shit. I'm just not. Especially since
it's going to be on Netflix. It's going to it's literally streamed to my house.
I'm gonna be real with you. If it's not from like a top tier director, and no offense to the Russos, they're not top tier. Right. I'm not seeing a Netflix movie in theaters, or going out of my way to see some shit in theaters by them. Like Roma, I made sure to see in a theater. The Irishman, I saw in a theater in a screening, because that was like 5 months before it came out. Same with Roma, it was 5 months. Both in Dolby Atmos. Like, those were made for theaters because they're by auteurs.
Right. They just happened to have been on Netflix. They weren't Netflix movies.
Right. The Gray Man is a $200 million Netflix movie.
Is it $200 million?
They got to stop spending $200 million on these movies.
Oh, man. Like, how? I'm telling you, it's a Ponzi scheme. Netflix, we're going to find out it's a fucking Ponzi scheme.
And look, I'll say this. I like the trailer. I thought the trailer, I'm like, oh, man, this movie looks hard. And then my boy saw it 2 weeks ago. He's like, yeah, nigga, it's a Netflix movie. I was like, well, yeah.
Well, it's got to be better than Red Notice. It's got to be.
And you know what? The Russos could go fuck themselves, too, because they're just like, we need to stop treating theaters like they're so precious. There's other ways to see movies. I'm like,
no, fuck you.
Yeah, like, y'all niggas are getting mad because people are coming down on your movies because y'all haven't made a good movie since Endgame.
Yeah, I love what the Russo brothers did, even when their days back on Community and shit like that. But, the movie theater's like church, baby. You got to like it.
They're there, and you know what? Cherry and now this, it proves that maybe you guys just aren't good directors. Like, y'all got lucky with Winter Soldier. Infinity War, I like the handheld documentary style you guys used there, but I mean, like, honestly, you could have swapped anybody in and out for Civil War and Endgame.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't hate Cherry, but I see what you're saying. Like, we had this conversation on our ASC episode. Cherry felt like someone trying to do an A24 film.
It was basically not, it felt like somebody who did every single music video in the 90s got their first feature film.
Pretty much. All right, so moving on. I gotta talk about The Boys. Cause I finished that up.
All right, you go ahead.
Yeah, The Boys is what Zack Snyder wish he could have done. This season in particular has been the best season of this already great show. So, I've talked about The Boys before. Like, it is It is perfect satire, deconstruction of superheroes, and now it's getting real political, where the main villain, and yes, Homelander is the main villain of this fucking show, right? He's pretty much just Trump. Like, he starts like, we really start leaning into the fact that, like, it's the cult of personality. But the thing I want to talk, so, like, if you get a chance, watch The Boys. It got renewed for a 4th season, and I'm here for it. It's gross, but it's engaging, and it's television, right? So every episode feels important, you know? It doesn't feel like they're trying to do an 8-hour fucking movie. It feels like they're trying to do a season of TV, and that's kind of fucking refreshing. But the one thing I want to point out is one of the side stories in here in this season takes place in Trenton, New Jersey. All right, and I want to highlight this one aspect of it. So there's one episode where Blue Hawk, who is pretty much, superhero cop, is going around Trenton, beating niggas' asses, police brutality and shit like that, right? And one of the people at this town hall meeting is like, yeah, you go around, fucking beating us up in the section and shit like that, but we don't see you over there in Mill Hill beating up all those white people. And I found that particularly hilarious because I do live in Mill Hill. All right. So in Trenton, it's the nicest part of Trenton. It's the nicest part of Trenton. And so I got emails from the neighborhood association with people being all upset about how Mill Hill was portrayed in this fucking show. Why? And I was laughing my ass off because I'm like, but you live in Mill Hill. You live here because it's the safest part of the city. You live here because it's the nicest part of the city. So the fact that whoever researched this show and decided to, like, drop a little, local flavor in there, got it right. Don't be mad. Don't be mad because there's fucking, I'm surrounded by white privilege. You fucking, look, you earned it. You fucking George Jefferson this shit. Don't get upset because someone's calling you on it. I mean, no offense. If I had the money, I'd buy a house in Princeton. I don't give a fuck. Right. That shit is nice as fuck. Right, but it's like, it's for people who want to be, Mill Hill's for people who want to still consider themselves down, but are still paying $500,000 for their houses. So I just thought that was hilarious that this debate among my neighbors over this TV show where a superhero shrinks himself and goes inside another superhero's dick called you out on your white privilege. So I thought that was particularly hilarious. But yes, The Boys, it's fucking great. Watch it. Sticking on with TV on something that's not very great. I finished up Obi-Wan. That last episode was not good. Like, the show had a sharp decline over those 6 episodes. And that's all I gotta say. Like, I know it's a prequel and stuff like that. And you have to connect the dots, but it was just so fucking ham-fisted and just so fucking, it's obvious that they're trying to set up for another series, instead of being a one-off. That's all I'm going to say for that. Like, it's fucking Obi-Wan. Like, I had big hopes. First episode, second episode, and then a sharp fucking decline. I started from the beginning watching For All Mankind on Apple TV. And for the longest time, people said, oh, it's the best show on TV. It's one of the best shows on TV. And I had tried watching it a couple of seasons ago, like 2 seasons ago, and it was good. Let me put that out there. It was good. It just wasn't for me. All right. But now that we're getting into the third season, all this hype and shit like that behind it, I decided to revisit it. And if you can get past the first half of season 1, it really does become super, super fucking engaging. You know, it's really heady. It's really strongly acted. Like Joel Kinnaman, like I don't know why he isn't a bigger star. Like I'm going to talk about another Joel Kinnaman property after this. Yeah, and so the thing about it's revisionist history, so it's like alternative history, and every season skips forward 10 years in the history of the space program, and honestly it makes me sad watching this show, because in this show science and math and technology are such a big, important part of the American landscape, and all of the improvements that are happening in America due to the space program. You see it on screen, and it makes me sad that we're no longer there. We're, because America used to be like a technological superpower, like science and, and things like that in technology were the thing that made us America. And we kind of forgot that. So I'm kind of, lovelorn for the America that they sort of show in this program. But yeah, I would say, For All Mankind, if you can get past the first half of the first season, it really hits. It becomes engaging, and like every episode, my ass is clenching because space is fucking dangerous. Like motherfuckers are dying left and right, like main characters and shit like that, because fucking one wrong move, man. One fucking frozen tube here, one fucking miscalculation there, you're floating off into the fucking ether.
I mean, did
forever.
You see Gravity and The Martian? Them shits came out, and Interstellar, them shits came out back to back to back to back, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking space.
Yeah, but like seeing it like on a constant basis and like it gets down to the nitty gritty of space is like, oh Jesus Christ, God bless every fucking astronaut, because that's not for me. Like I don't know why, I know why all these billionaires are trying to get to space, because they're trying to get away from Earth before shit goes real south.
No, they're trying to colonize space.
Right. They're trying to get away. They're trying to get away before shit goes south.
They're trying to, like, I'm surprised nobody's tried to colonize the ocean yet, but I'm pretty sure that's coming soon. Anything that hasn't been charted yet, billionaires are going to try and make some money off of.
Yeah, and they honestly in season 3, that's where they're going. They're talking about like the race for Mars is between Russia, the United States, and what pretty much tantamounts to fucking Amazon.
I mean, have you seen Ad Astra?
Yeah,
they colonized the moon.
So like it's So
we got fucking pirates on the moon ready to jack you.
So space is scary, and So I'm gonna get real quick with these other TV shows. Watch The Old Man on Hulu. On FX.
Yeah. Well, how far are you into it?
I feel like I'm caught up.
Okay.
I took yesterday to catch up, and yo, fucking, this is what I wanted out of Red. That movie Red.
Yes. It's a slow burn, and that's what I love about the show. It lets you get to know the characters, but it keeps all their motivations secret. And then after you get to know them, there's like reveal. Right. Reveal. Like everybody has some motive where you're just like, oh fuck.
Right. Like starting off like what in episode 1 is important in episode 6, but it changes. Like the lens through in which you watch it changes. And there's a reveal, I think, in episode 4 or 3 or 4. And I'm not going to get in. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's one of those moments where like I fucking knew it, but also like that's fucking amazing. You know,
I didn't see any of the reveals coming. Like
Like,
I didn't know everybody was that tidally close together.
like I like we can talk about this offline because I don't want to spoil it. But like the one big reveal, with the voice on the phone, and I was like,
Okay, yeah, that character I did see coming.
right, like I
because,
saw
yeah,
that, I saw that coming.
the
but
voice sounded too familiar.
but like even seeing it coming, it was still exciting when the reveal happened. You know, and Jeff Bridges is just doing his Rooster Cogburn. He's in this Rooster Cogburn phase of acting, and I'm here for it. Like his old grumpy old Texas man, fucking. But now he's just kicking ass.
Well, I'm interested to find out because it already got renewed for season 2. I don't know if it's going to happen in this final episode this week or maybe next season, but I think Alia Shawkat's mind is going to be blown out the back of her fucking head once she finds out the connection between John Lithgow and her dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When she finds that out, she's going to be like, y'all motherfuckers could have told me this like years ago.
Yeah. It's a great fucking show. It really is. And like, I watched it on a whim because I love, old skilled motherfuckers doing old skilled motherfucker things. But like, this is fucking next level. Like, and this is John Watts.
First 2 episodes he did. I was just about to say, I'm glad he's taken a step back from Marvel because watching his first 2 episodes, I'm glad he gets to flex his muscles again as a director and not be harmonized into the standard Marvel point and shoot formula.
Yeah, 100%.
Not for nothing, because even in the last 2 Spider-Man movies, there were some shots in that where I'm just like, oh, this is where he gets to shine. Like even No Way Home, there's a Spielberg wonder at the beginning of that movie where I was like, oh, that was awesome.
Right. Yeah. So the old man, FX is fucking killing it between
The Bear. Also got renewed for a second season.
Good.
I watched that all when it dropped that day.
That oneer, and was it episode 7? Was it the one?
Yeah, it was 8 episodes, and episode 7 is called Review, and that's the one where, oh man, that is the most accurate portrayal of a kitchen. Because my first job was a dishwasher at Friendly's. That's how it is in a kitchen. And like I've seen like behind the scenes shit of people working in the restaurant business, and they say it is like that. Like they talk to each other like that all the time, and shit goes wrong all the time, where shit just gets out of control, and everybody just drops shit and starts laughing because they know, oh, we can't recover from this. Like we'll make it up tomorrow. Like today we're fucked.
Right. Yeah.
Like that episode where everything goes wrong and the order starts spitting out. Like I was just like, oh boy, this was made by somebody who worked in a kitchen and just has PTSD.
Right. It's like because I know plenty of people who work in the food service industry, and there's like that episode was fucking triggering.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just one fucking take, man. I love how these FX shows are taking these fucking chances and doing some creative shit. I'm looking at you, Netflix.
Yo, man, we say this almost every episode, but if you don't have Hulu, like get Hulu. Hulu has great movies. They got great shows. Like the Hulu originals are much better than the Netflix
originals.
Like The Princess is better than any fucking Netflix movie that came out this year.
Right. So we're not getting money for this. So fucking Hulu, Apple. Don't sleep on Apple TV, because Apple TV still has some bangers on it. Even fucking Amazon's trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus got a little bit of heat too. You could see them on the come up. And Paramount Plus also has the IMAX version of Interstellar. You can't get that shit anywhere else unless you have it on like DVD or Blu-ray.
Right. So like Netflix, what the fuck are you doing? They all these other services are coming for your lunch hard.
Oh, real quickly, they said today, Ted Sarandos, or however the fuck you say his name, said that we need our own Harry Potter or Star Wars. And I'm just like, y'all motherfuckers do have Stranger Things, and y'all could build that out if you wanted to. You guys had so many popular shows that you could have built out but you canceled them after 2 or 3 seasons.
Right.
So, I mean, that's on you.
Yeah. I mean, it's they are getting in the way of their own success. You know, that's, you know, that's, you know, it's fucking Netflix.
Hey, at least they got Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, right? The two-part rejected Star Wars epic.
I can't.
I can't believe he took that shit to Lucasfilm and they were like, yeah, nah.
I can't. I keep forgetting that we're getting Zack Snyder's Star Wars.
And I'm interested to see what this is, because the fact that Lucasfilm straight up said no, that means this shit must have been
like
pretty fucking bad.
Right. Because, you know, Lucasfilms, they're not known for quality all the time, you know. So I mean,
and it ain't like Zack Snyder's just some fucking dickhead. He has like hitters under his belt.
Right,
so
he got
like,
heat, you know.
So
they were like, no, thank you. We're gonna work on this Jar Jar prequel.
I guess his had fucking Luke getting cucked by fucking Darth. Had that fucking family porn that's fucking big right now, all the rage right now.
Wait. I'm just thinking like cis swap or all that shit, and fucking in the Star Wars universe.
You know that nigga, you know that nigga has terrible ideas that usually have to deal with sex in some way, where you're just like,
but like the worst parts of sex.
Are you 15, my nigga? Like,
bro, do you even cinema, bro?
You get laid, bro?
You smashing that puss, bro?
Listen, I'm a feminist, but I still make my feminist characters wear skimpy outfits, you know?
I'm a feminist, yo. Fucking, if a bitch want to have her titties out, I'm going to have a bitch have her titty out. Because it's her choice, her body. Bro. Slow-mo.
Oh, fuck. Maybe that's why it's 2 parts. There's going to be a goddamn another Justice League.
I can't wait to see slow-mo lightsaber battles. Oh, not lightsaber.
Now he has to change it all, you know, and we're all going to be like, okay, this was supposed to be the Force. That was supposed to be like the Millennium Falcon. This motherfucker going to be 2 parts.
Yo, he's making the Turkish remake of Star Wars for Netflix.
Shit.
It is Crystal Saber.
Yeah, Netflix is like, we got to stop catering to all these highbrow directors. And I'm like, well, I mean.
But are you catering to highbrow directors? Or are you just giving popular directors too much money?
I mean, y'all paid at auction $50 million for the rights for Knives Out. And I just found out Lionsgate still gets to have their logo in front of the movie.
Oh, so Netflix doesn't even get to like, oh man. Who made that fucking deal? So now I understood why fucking Lionsgate was like, yeah, sell it, because we'll still get a piece of it. Right. We're still the first title card. Oh, okay.
So $450 million is going between Lionsgate, Rian Johnson, and his producing partner, Ram Bergman.
Yeah, money.
Because I think Amazon or Apple even came out and said, yeah, that was fucking stupid. That's why we backed out of the bid, because we're like, no, fucking way.
Right. I mean, Knives Out was great.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that great. It wasn't $450 million great.
for movies that they actually spent 40 or 50 million on.
Right. It's like, the accounting on that's kind of wonky.
Yo, I would love to be in Ryan's situation, because I would come home to my brother and I'd be like, yo, we don't have to do shit for the rest of our lives. Like, I'd come out and be like, yeah, Knives Out, these 2 Knives Out movies, these are my last movies. I'm retiring.
Right, because he doesn't have to do anything else, because he's made all the money in Hollywood. All these 2 movies, he's made all the money.
I'd be like Wes Craven in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where fucking Shannon Daughtery's like, Wes, what are we supposed to do here? And he's sitting in the director's chair counting the money. He's like, hold on. That would be me. Like, yeah.
if I were Ryan Johnson, I'd come home every night and just laugh until I collapsed. It's like, they paid how much?
And that nigga's still gonna get paid off of Star Wars because he's still gonna make his Star Wars trilogy.
Right.
Like, honestly, if I was him after Star Wars, I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to make another movie again.
Yeah. Like, we're gonna get some real interesting self-funded films out of him because he's got the money. He's got. We're gonna see some fucking $1 million movies just coming out. This motherfucker. It's like, I was bored. I got all this fucking Knives Out money.
It's gonna be better. It's gonna be better than most people's like multi-million-dollar movies. Oh shit!
It's like it's the filmmaker equivalent of Brewster's Millions. He's just gonna have to figure out a way to spend all this ridiculous amount of money that these motherfuckers have given him.
Man, if there was a woman I was like obsessed with, I'd straight up go up to her and be like, "Yo, you know who I am?" And she'd be like, "Oh, you're that director." I'd be like, "Yeah." How you feeling right now? You want to have some kids? You want your grandkids to be okay? I'll be like, all right, let's get married. Fuck it. Let's have some kids.
Yo, I would get like a Knives Out tattoo. Just because I'd be real ridiculous about it.
Imagine if that nigga started running a Keith Raniere Knives Out cult where he started like branding bitches with the Knives Out logo. Like one has the OG Knives Out logo. The other one has the glass, because the sequel's called Glass Onion. Somebody else gets Glass Onion. The next one gets whatever the third movie's going to be called.
And you only they have to wear specific shirts with the left arm cut off so it's just like. And
I would just call them by the movie titles. I'd be like, Glass Onion, come here, baby.
Like Glass Onion, anal, fucking Knives Out, BDSM. It's like, yeah, get real weird, Rain. Get real weird, Ryan. Get real weird with it. Fuck it. You
Knives Out about to be the new Nexium.
Oh, I can't wait for the Knives Out universe documentary. And then it all changed. Oh shit! All right,
I don't give a fuck, yo. Listen, I'm not even mad. Like that is one of the biggest like hustles ever. Like I would, you know how much I would kill to be in that situation. Like nigga, I would walk out on the Oscars and be like, yeah, I haven't made a movie in like 20 years. Y'all saw Knives Out, right? Y'all love that? Yeah, cool. All right, I'm out. Like I'd make an appearance every 10 years. Like
yeah, and they would still have to pay me for that appearance.
Oh hell yeah. Oh, you want me on stage to present this award? $5 million. Oh, and I gotta get into like this after party, and this after party.
And I don't feel like walking on stage, so you're gonna have to get someone to push me up on a wheelchair. That's made out of gold.
No, if you're gonna do that shit, you might as well get the Pharaoh. Like have the niggas come out with the Pharaoh shit.
Yeah. All right, fuck it. Yeah, fucking Knives Out, baby.
Oh shit! Shout out to Netflix.
Yeah, good, making money moves, baby.
Yo, shout out to your like $200 billion debt.
So Netflix, I got plenty of movies to pitch you. None of them are good, but they
don't give a fuck.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
But I'll sell them to you for the low price of $250 million each. I mean, that's a deal. That's a deal, baby. I
would have somebody just do cocaine. They'd be like, why don't you do it? I was like, because I don't do cocaine, but I have cocaine money. So somebody's going to do cocaine, and I'm going to watch you do cocaine and destroy your life.
They call it the Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
They call it. No, I want a Bruckheimer.
You want a Simpson. That's Simpson. That's Don Simpson.
No, they were both on that shit. But yeah, imagine that's Knives Out money for you right there. Knives Out money is having money to buy cocaine and pay someone to do the cocaine for you and to tell you really bad stories.
As you just sit there with a shit-eating grin watching them.
Right. And I would just, call Netflix. I would just crank call Netflix. I would have my cokehead. I would have my Bruckheimer call Netflix and just call them. Like that's how you reboot Crank Yankers. That's how you reboot the Jerky Boys.
If I ever get into that type of situation where I can pull a hustle like that, before I leave the industry, I'm making my own Days of Thunder, where the production's just a mess. The movie, who gives a fuck? People still see it just because.
Here's the thing. You make a train wreck movie, right? But then you have a secret documentary crew film the train wreck, so you win an Oscar off the documentary for your train wreck movie.
Oh yeah, I would straight up do an interview. I'd be like, yo, I made this movie just because I wanted to make a shit show. Why the fuck not? Why not go out on a fucking legendary, awful production? This is my Days of Thunder. This is my Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Where I get to say, hey, first grip, punch the producer in the face. I go into the fucking studio head's office, put my feet up on the desk, smoking a cigar, be like, hey yo, key grip, punch this nigga in the face.
Right, but like he would have to dip his hands in cocaine first. So like, you know how like they put the powder on the gloves when they do the bare knuckle box and shit like that? Just fucking cocaine. Let's do it. I love this idea. Like
I
Knives Out.
I want to know what every company has a golden parachute. I want to know what Netflix's golden parachute is.
It's a revolver with a single bullet in it. That's what it is.
Because next year
they all line up.
You know, next year they're gonna start charging people for password sharing. I was like, oh, that's the final nail in the coffin for y'all motherfuckers.
Well, I was reading about this yesterday. They're toying with the idea of where you can put a whole entire another household on your account.
Yeah, but why would you pay for that?
Right. Like, they're trying real hard.
At that point, you just tell the other household, just pay for your own shit.
Right. As like, you were trying real fucking hard, aren't you, Netflix? I mean, look, it's part of the game. Like, if you stop making $250 million fucking movies that are just for streaming and start putting out quality, then maybe you wouldn't have to worry about the passwords.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers really should have put Roma out in theaters. Y'all should have really put The Irishman in theaters. Power of the Dog, y'all probably should have put out in theaters. Like, I know y'all trying to get Glass Onion into theaters, but I mean, at this point, it's too little too late. But right. you have to, because you bought it at auction for $450 fucking million. So yeah, y'all got to put it out in theaters before you put it on your streaming service. And in that case, that means because Knives Out was such a big hit, that means by the time it gets to Netflix, ain't nobody going to watch it because everybody went and saw it in fucking theaters.
Right.
So again, that's a double-edged sword. So you'll make money, but.
So yeah, Netflix, you're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to pivot real hard and come up with some good content, some original ideas. Stop throwing money fucking away.
Yeah, maybe don't let Rebel Moon and Army of the Dead be your next franchises.
Right. Or how about you don't spend $30 million per episode for Stranger Things? Oh
yeah. Well, we'll talk about that's going to be our main review.
Yeah. So all right, so let's move on. Let's close this out. HBO Max, watch The Rehearsal.
Yo,
that shit is fucking insane.
Yo. I want to know where Nathan found this dude. I'm like, not only is he socially awkward, but like
the spray painted hair. That was spray painted hair, right? That nigga had spray painted hair, right?
And it was over a dilemma that honestly any other person would have reacted the way she did, where okay, like if you told me like, yo, I lied about having a degree, I'd be like, okay, everybody does.
All right, cool.
That's like, literally everybody in America lies about having a fucking degree of some sort.
Right. But like, I loved how like, I can't lose trivia. We can't, like, I got the secret to tell, and that's one strike, but then if we lose, trivia is like, nigga, are you playing for prizes? Like, what the do you get free pizza, free drinks if you win trivia?
Yeah,
yeah. Like
the table shit cracked me up too. I was like, I can't believe this nigga went there. He's like, My grandma died, and I need. I was like,
it carries special symbolism for me.
oh.
I was like, what the fuck? Yo,
I was like, my nigga, you're trying to resolve a lie, and then you're just going ahead and telling another lie.
right. So so you can obviously tell that we love The Rehearsal. The Rehearsal is by Nathan
Fielder.
Nathan Fielder, the guy who did Nathan for You, and it's pretty much him going around solving people's dilemmas, right? But he has rehearsals for them, right? So he builds these elaborate sets that mimic the real life world situations, and then he practices with you all the iterations of how things can go right and how things can go wrong. He is fucking the Charlie Kaufman of reality TV. This shit is fucking bananas. Yo, I cannot wait for this week's episode. Like, I am jonesing for this week's episode.
Oh my God. I would not be on, like, if you had told me, if I got picked for this show, I'd be like, oh, who's doing this? Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, 100% not. No.
Oh, no. Look, I got a lot of problems that need to be resolved, but I don't need them resolved publicly and not like this.
Not in the weirdest fucking way possible.
Yeah, because this is honestly, this is humiliating, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like he's going to be on TV forever.
Yes.
Looking like a straight asshole. I mean, thank you for your service. Thank you for sacrificing your your dignity for my entertainment. But God damn. All right, so moving on. I watched The Counselor, talking about weird fucking batshit crazy movies. The Counselor is what happens when you get Cormac McCarthy teamed up with Ridley Scott, and it's a tone poem. It is the weirdest drug deal gone wrong movie ever. It's extreme in the best ways possible. I hated it. I hated it halfway through, and then I locked in, and I locked into the weirdness, and it's like, okay.
I do want to see it because there's a director's cut up on HBO Max.
Yo, so I watched the regular cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like so fucked up behind the original cut that directly after I started watching the director's cut. Like, I watched them one after the other, and this is like 4:00 in the morning. I'm doing this shit. It is a wild ride. It is straight Cormac McCarthy. Like, it is, the violence is short and brutal, and the language and the cadence of everything like that, the way people talk, is just so stylized. I wish more young filmmakers would stop trying to ape Kevin Smith style, right? When it came to Clerks, and they start aping what Ridley did with Cormac McCarthy's work in The Counselor. It's not a good, it's like, I can't even say it's a good movie because I can't tell because it's just so stream of fucking consciousness. It's just an interesting movie. And it's dark. It's real fucking dark.
Well, that's why a lot of Cormac McCarthy's stuff is hard to adapt. I know they're trying to, for years, adapt Blood Meridian, but, like, I don't know how you adapt that.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a great book.
Yeah. The Road, they weren't able to do.
Yeah,
right?
that sucked.
That the Road sucked. No Country for Old Men, that worked.
Well, the Coens are weird.
Right.
So, I mean, that was a perfect marriage of weird and weird.
Yeah. So, like,
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, his director's cuts are always better than the original cut. So, was it better?
Yes. The director's cut, but I think I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much if I hadn't had that original cut to base it on. But like the stuff that was cut, it just adds so much more nuance to some of these characters, right? And I could listen to like these motherfuckers just talk, right? Like I could just listen to Brad Pitt in his fucking nouveau cowboy fucking outfit just wax poetic on the drug game. You know? Yeah. And so it's long, it's, you know, it's, I think it's like 20 minutes longer, like a half hour longer. And it's worth it because, I mean, it changes just enough, you know? But I can understand why people hated this. I can understand why it did not do well in theaters. Because it is not straightforward.
I mean, Cormac McCarthy's a weird dude. He's a weird old man.
Yeah.
Like if you've read one, like I know No Country for Old Men's accessible, like the movie, not the book, but the movie.
Right.
And the movie's pretty fucking faithful to the book. But like, if you read any of his other works, yeah, like.
Right. Yeah. Like we'll go back to The Road. Like when they like after reading The Road and they announced that they were trying to do an adaptation of that, I was like, how the fuck can you do that? Well, I mean, you can't. They couldn't. But like, still, it's fucking weird.
Well, Blood Meridian, that's one of his like most famous books, and like even at one point, Ridley was attached to do it. Judge Holden is the villain of that fucking book, and I just don't think the way that story plays out and all of Judge Holden's little characteristics and eccentricities, I don't think that would fly with most people, especially with the way the novel ends and how it almost suggests that Judge Holden is supernatural because it's a Western up until that point. I just don't think people would jive with that. Yeah,
you know, sometimes a movie's too weird. Properties are too weird to be adapted, even though you love them. You know, like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Blood Meridian, I think, is one of the best books I've ever read, but I got
to read that then. Like, so yeah, so The Counselor, yeah, like I said, I fucking did that to myself. I watched one after the other. Like I said, halfway through, that's when I started, like, I locked in. It's like, okay, if I stop trying to make sense of this as a standard narrative, like, because I went into it expecting, okay, it's Ridley Scott doing his version of Oliver Stone's Savages, right? That's what I
hated Savages.
I hated Savages. I hated it, but it was exciting, you know?
The problem with Savages is like, yo, it was so much there to make it a good movie, and just the execution was just awful.
Right. Yeah. So what I was expecting, like, okay, Ridley Scott's doing fucking Savages. All right, so this is just going to be good. And they sold it like Ridley Scott was trying to do Savages, but it ain't Ridley Scott trying to do Savages. It just happens to deal with the drug game. And it doesn't even really deal with the drug game. Like, that's part of it. Like, it does and it doesn't. It's so, yeah. You got to watch it. I think we should do a deep dive on The Counselor, because I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I would also recommend, if y'all like Cormac McCarthy, read Child of God, and I guarantee you'll never want to read another book by this dude again.
Man, I didn't want to read anything from him after The Road, dude.
Oh, yeah, The Road's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Blood Meridian is much rougher.
Really?
Yes.
Yo.
But literally everybody who's like, every legendary director who's worked in Hollywood has at some point tried to make that into a movie. And you'll understand why if you read it. And then Child of God's just disgusting. So.
All right. Well, I know what I'm doing this week.
All right.
So I've taken up enough time. Let's move on. What have you been watching lately?
All right, let's start with TV. Evil has been going great. This season's pretty fucking wild. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about Evil so far. Moving on, I binged Taboo. It's the Tom Hardy joint on FX.
I love that fucking show, man.
I just found out they're getting a second season. They're gonna start shooting next year.
Oh, fuck yes.
They want to do 3 seasons, so we got 2 more in the pipeline, and the reason why it's taking so long is just because these niggas got other projects, like Stephen Knight has Peaky Blinders and other movies he's been making, and then Tom Hardy's Tom Hardy.
Right.
But Taboo is coming back. If this was the end, like if this was like this first season, if that was it, I'd still be satisfied.
Yeah, I'd be fine. I'd be fine with that.
This show is fucking wild. Like, yo, I love the arc that Tom Hardy goes on because you're rooting for his character, even though those first 2 or 3 episodes, you're like, yo, this dude's a piece of shit. But then he starts to care for other people, and watching him start caring for other people, it breaks down his humanity where he actually becomes a normal dude who's still able to execute revenge. Like, yo, people try to screw him over, but he's always like a step or 2 ahead.
Yeah.
Like this nigga's like the Joker if the Joker was a good guy.
Yeah. So like I've been singing the praises for Taboo for the longest time, and I'm so glad they're getting a second season. Once again, fucking FX.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a co-production with the BBC. So yeah, and I didn't realize how many famous people are in it, like Jonathan Pryce, Jesse Buckley,
Steven, what the fuck that nigga's who is everything. Steven, the dude, the bald dude with
who was in Snatch.
Yeah, that dude, everybody's in this shit.
Yeah, man, like yo, and I was just like, for a show this fucking dark and disgusting, it has a high fucking budget. I was like, this shit is expensive as a motherfucker.
We're talking to you, Netflix. This shit looks expensive and it feels expensive. It feels big.
Yeah. So, but Taboo, it's 8 episodes, and I went through all 8 episodes in 2 days because I was just like, man, every time I finished that episode, I was just like, all right, let me take a little 2-minute break, and then I'm going to dive into the next one.
Yeah, it's that kind of show, and I'm so glad it's getting a second season. Like you said, if it had ended on them on the boat, I'd be fine with that. I would have been fine with that being the end of the show.
I like how the East India Trading Company, they were a real company, but when it comes to stuff set in that period of time, I love how they're always the villain. Like they're the villains in Pirates of the Caribbean. They're the villains in this. It's just like, damn, these motherfuckers must have been really hated.
Right.
But they did run the world back then. So.
Yeah.
Solar Opposites Season 3. This was a good season. If you watch Solar Opposites, you know these characters are pretty fucking unlikable, but they all go through an arc, and it ends in a pretty fucking depressing way where I'm just like, yeah, this is fucking real life. Like, this is why I'm kind of reconsidering having kids, because then you get stuck into doing some shit you don't like doing. Like, it ends. I love the show, and it ends with them because their little pet they have to take care of, the pupa,
right,
starting to wreak havoc because it's picking up all their bad habits from them because they're awful people. And then they're like, oh shit, we got to change or else the pupa is going to destroy the world. And it ends with a montage of them working in an office to pay the bills and be good role models for the pupa while Once in a Lifetime by the Talking Heads plays. And like, they all just look depressed working this office job as that plays. And I'm just like, holy fucking shit. Justin Roiland just knows how to like hit home how much fucking humanity sucks.
So like they last 10 minutes of the shielded us, you know, where Vic Mackey's just the Cage Tiger, baby. Cage Tiger.
This season premiered last week. I'm hoping they get a 4th season. This is what I wish Rick and Morty was like, and it doesn't have the fan base of Rick and Morty. Justin Roiland's also getting another show on Hulu that they announced called, I forget what it's called, something Panda. Hugh Jackman's going to play the voice of the main character. Yeah, man. Get Hulu. Hulu has so much shit, man.
Hulu
Like,
fucking their team up with FX and their original shit is just fucking banger after banger. Like Hulu. Fuck.
yeah. Let's get into the terminal list. I finished the terminal list.
I want
It's
to start
okay.
that.
It's okay. Like that. My favorite episode was where they went hunting in episode 4 for this dude, and then it had one of the craziest torture scenes ever. I talked about on a previous solo episode where he disembowels the dude, hangs the dude's bowels on a hook, and is like, "All right, get up and walk." And the dude tries to walk with his fucking bowels on a hook.
All right. And now, is every episode directed by Antoine Fuqua?
No, just the first episode, and then somebody who listens to the show directed that episode, Ellen Kuras. She directed an episode.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know this was based off a novel, and it's a series of novels. So if it gets a second season, I imagine it's gonna do like a new novel, because I read what the second book's about, and I'm like, okay, see, this is what the type of shit I want to see versus this shit. So we'll see if it continues.
All right. So
but it's okay.
It's okay. So like, I shouldn't rush to fucking see this.
No.
Okay.
Miss Marvel. I love Miss Marvel. It just ended last week.
So good.
I wish more of the Marvel movies would take a note for the show where they keep the scale in relative to the character. So Miss Marvel's a street level hero, and the final battle in Miss Marvel, it's epic, it's big, but it's street level. And this is what they need to start doing with these movies, is scaling it back a bit.
And to piggyback on that, it's just the character is likable, the stakes are relatable, and like, I felt the family. I felt all of the ancillary characters and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it felt real. The world felt real and lived in. And like, some of those scenes made me fucking cry.
And you know what, man? I'm Iman Vellani. She's just adorable. If I was her age, I'd be like hitting her up on social media, like, "Yo, could I take you out? Yo, could I take you out? Yo, could I take you out?" Put this, guys. Anybody listening, please put this girl in more stuff. Like, she just got the chops. Does this make me excited for the Marvels? Not really. Just because the movies have just been hit or miss, and the Marvels comes out the week after Oppenheimer and Barbie, and if those two movies are as good as I hope they are, I'm just gonna go see those again. Like, no offense to Marvel, but like, y'all come out, and especially since, you know, no one's gonna have those IMAX screens locked up.
Right.
Barbie, I know everybody's looking forward to Barbie, like men, women, like there's memes about dudes who want to go see Barbie. Right. And they're great memes because every dude on Twitter is like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, I found one for me where I was like, yeah, that's me. So like, when it comes down to it, it's just like, well, who's going to go see the Marvels besides diehard Marvel fans? So like,
but the diehard Marvel fans, they are legion.
Yeah, but it's starting to lose its appeal, man. Like, Thor's kind of crashing, and it's only been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, is it? Well, that's a shame.
And Miss Marvel is I just found out, when this sucks, is the lowest rated Disney Plus Marvel show so far.
Because it's filled with brown people.
That's probably why. It's also probably because it's a lesser known character, even though she's really popular. And it's just like, you know, I'm going to say this. Y'all got to move that release date for the Marvels. Like, I just have a feeling y'all are going to get your lunch eaten.
Or just do a day and date on Disney Plus or some shit like that. Like
y'all got the whole ass summer and the whole ass, like, move it up a few weeks. Cause I keep forgetting Mission Impossible's coming out around that time too. So
and like our boy Tom, yeah, I'm gonna support him. Like
that. I don't know how these movies expect to survive next summer, cause it's Mission Impossible, followed directly next weekend, Oppenheimer and Barbie, which is a perfect counter programming, because you could feed into both audiences with that. And then the following weekend, it's the Marvels, and it's just like, well, by the time the Marvels comes around, you've seen everything. Like, you got the action extravaganza, you got the feel-good comedy that's subversive, and then you got the big war epic. So you're going to watch a bunch of people standing in front of a green screen setting up like 5 more movies.
Right.
So,
and also, like, 2 of the big, like, so you got, Captain Marvel in there, which I didn't like that movie for a number of different reasons, but it's also the fan base seeing a female protagonist in this Marvel universe. They're going to hate. It's going to have a brown person in it.
2.
It's going to have 2 brown people in it.
Because Photon's in it. Because Photon is a Captain Marvel in the comics.
Right. So here's the thing. This fan base that you've created, this toxic fan base, is going to literally eviscerate itself.
I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be real with you. If Black Panther isn't good, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the beginning of the end of Marvel. And I'll tell you what will crater Marvel. The thing that will crater Marvel is if Fantastic Four is not good. If Fantastic Four sucks, that's it. Y'all are done.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw this. So there's a petition going around to recast T'Challa for...
No, and I saw that. I've seen everybody's been crying about that ever since they announced that they were moving forward and they're going to leave T'Challa out. Let Chadwick live on, man. Let the character live on in Chadwick. Like, T'Challa, there's been, like, Shuri's right there. Shuri has been Black Panther a number of times in the comics. Like, I don't know why everybody's so up in arms, especially since whoever you get to play T'Challa, even if they did, never gonna live up. Yeah, it's always going to be compared to Chadwick.
Right. And here's my thing. These motherfuckers are out here putting out petitions for this shit, right? Yet there's still police brutality. There's still the Supreme Court is systematically stripping women away of their rights. And there's so much shit going on in the world, and you fucking develop and sign and send around a petition for this bullshit? Fuck you. Well,
here's my thing, too. It's also hard for Black people to get into movies in general. Why is it this that we're hung up on?
Right.
Like I'm going to get into it when I do my Nope review, but like, we're getting a blockbuster with 2 Black leads. One's a Black female, and it's not based on anything. Do you know how fucking rare that is?
It's like a unicorn. It's a unicorn.
Yeah, man. And I'm just,
It's that crab bucket shit. It's that crab bucket shit.
I hate this is why I'm saying, like, this franchise shit, like it's pretty clear that Disney is now coasting off of Marvel. And the dude Bob I don't know how you say his name, Chekapeake, he straight up said, if it was up to me, everything would go to Disney Plus, including Marvel. And the only reason why Marvel's not going to Disney Plus is because we'd lose Kevin. Right. And I'm just like, I don't understand how you see Netflix is currently struggling and y'all think, and this nigga is going to be like, all right, let's shove everything to Disney Plus. Disney almost died once before. With this new dude who just got re-upped for 3 more years to run the company. It's going to happen again, because I'm going to tell you what, man. People are starting to get burnt out on Marvel, and Star Wars, people already have the pushback on, and y'all don't even know what the fuck to do with that. So, like, your 2 biggest, like, hitters are currently floundering.
Yeah, and that's why we need more fucking original content. Like, it's I was a fat kid. I loved ice cream. But I shouldn't have had ice cream every fucking day. All day.
Well, that's the perfect analogy I was thinking of. I was like, the way I look at Marvel is like, imagine me eating White Castle every day. Eventually, I'm just going to be like, I want something else besides fucking unhealthy hamburgers.
Like the White
Castle. Make me feel awful.
Like they have literally rotted my soul.
Yeah.
White Castle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like Miss Marvel. I they changed her from being an Inhuman because everybody hates Inhumans, and I understand why, because that TV show was dog shit. And they changed her to something, I'm not going to spoil it. And I think that's a good launching point to get those characters into the MCU, is to hint at that by making other characters that species.
You know what? I was here for it, but then again, the fans are fucking, the diehard fans is like, oh, you know, she's not an Inhuman. This show sucks. I was like,
Inhumans are fucking stupid anyway. They get their powers from Terrigen Mist and shit, and it's
like, look,
a whole ass royal family and shit, and it's
the only iteration of the Inhumans that I liked was this Marvel versus the Inhumans video game for PS2. It was a fighting game. I love that shit.
There was a really good run. It was a brief run, 2 volumes. Black Bolt, he's the king of the Inhumans.
Right.
If they had adapted that into a movie, that probably could have been nominated for some shit, because that was so well. Saladin Admin wrote it, and like Saladin's like, it was a lot of philosophical stuff, a lot of morally complex stuff with the big set pieces, and it's just like
the stuff that you should be getting out of the shit that you should be getting out of these comic books as an adult.
And you know what? WandaVision, really, they should have adapted the Vision storyline proper, because if they had made that into a movie, like what WandaVision's based on was Vision's recent run of comics, and had they adapted that into its own little movie, because Tom King wrote that would have, you guys could have won some Oscars off of that. Like that was more of a drama than it was even a superheroes type shit.
Right.
And y'all are just interested in making the way I look at Marvel is like Netflix right now. You run it through an algorithm and you say, can this please everybody? Can this hit every all
the quadrants, all the 4 quadrants? Yeah.
Can this hit every demographic possible? And then when you do that, you end up pleasing nobody. You're making a movie for nobody at that point. So moving on from Miss Marvel, Westworld's been fucking nuts this season.
I gotta catch up on season 3.
We are halfway through the season. Episode 4 just ended because it's 8 episodes this season. So now that we're halfway through the season, there was a reveal at the end of this last episode where I was just like, oh, shit is much worse than we thought it was, because episode 3 ends on a cliffhanger where you're like, oh man, these guys might be fucked. And then at the end of episode 4, you find out, oh no, it's much worse than what you thought. And it sets up the conflict now for the rest of the season, where all the storylines have now come together and everybody's coming together to stop this one person.
All right. So let me
like, this one person fucking won. I was just like, wait, they won already? I was like, oh fuck. I was like, yo, we are fucked.
Yeah, let me catch up on season 3, so I can jump into season 4.
That's what I like. Season 1 was a nice standalone season. Season 2 picked up where season 1 left off. Season 3 is like a hard reset while still carrying on the story from season 2. And then even season 4 is another hard reset, and it continues the story from season 3. But this season, like, every episode just pulls you in more and more, just because you're just like, oh man, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And especially now that this last episode ended, where you're just like, oh boy, fuck me. You guys have like a huge uphill battle now.
All right, let me jump on here before the internet spoils some of these surprises for me.
All right, and I'm gonna get into some movies. I'll start with Where the Crawdads Sing. Where the Crawdads Sing is it is a fucking white trash Nicholas Sparks romance mixed with a mediocre episode of Law and Order. When I heard how bad this movie was, I was like, oh, I gotta see it. Right. I used the A-list reservation. I went and I saw this shit, and like 20 minutes in, I was just like, oh wow, this movie's fucking nuts for the wrong reasons. It reinforces every stereotype I have in my head about white men in the South, that they're lazy, drunk, racist, who beat and rape their wives.
That's exactly what they think of us.
And you know what? There came a part where the Marsh girl is describing her family life, because you're like, why is this girl grown up by herself? Well, her daddy was a drunk, and the dad would beat the shit out the mom and rape her and shit like that. And so one day, the mom enters a fugue state, and you see her walk out the house, and her face is like, just looks like she came from a boxing match with Mike Tyson. And you see her in a fugue state just walk with her luggage out into to swamp, and she leaves the household. And then it enters a fucking montage of, okay, then the older brother left because he was getting beat. And then it was the two older sisters. They ran away because they were getting beat. And then the younger brother, he up and leaves too. But before he leaves, he's like, hey, if you want, come find me. I'll let you know where I am, but I'm not staying here. And he runs off.
How come no one decided to take this bitch with him?
That's what I was thinking. And the way like it's shot and the way it's done with the voiceover, I started laughing. Just because I was like, this shit is insane. Because it's just a montage of everybody just upping and walking out of the house and just literally walking off into the swamp, going to better pastures. And I was just like, y'all leaving a 5-year-old girl here with a drunk.
Right, who's probably molesting her.
Well, she says she didn't get beat because she learned to just hide from him. And then eventually he came to realize, oh, I alienated my whole family and they left. So I got this one daughter who now, I got to take care of this kid. And for a while he takes care of her. And then one day he up and leaves. Even though he's a lazy drunk. So where would he go?
The only way that this movie, this montage would have been better is if they used the Bill Bixby leaving anthem from the Hulk TV show.
Yo, so like this whole movie, she's on trial because people want to know if she killed this dude, and they assume she did because she's an outsider because she lives in a swamp by herself. And I'm just like, this little fucking mouse of a woman who honestly looks like a supermodel. And for some reason, she grew up by herself, and yet she dresses nicely, has perfect makeup, knows how to do her hair and shit. I was like, all right, sure. You know what? Whatever.
You wanted that chick looking like Nell, huh?
She starts dating this dude, and this dude treats her right, and then they're about to have sex, and he says, no, let's not have sex just because I'm not ready. And he says, I have too much respect and I love you too much, and I'm about to go away to college, and I just don't want us to end our relationship with us having sex. And I was like, yeah, I get that. I totally understand that. So when he goes away and goes to college, she starts dating this other dude where you could tell this dude's a piece of shit because he looks like the Joker.
Which Joker? I mean, they're all.
Yeah.
We know what that guy looks like.
So anyways, this dude is just like, yeah, I'm going to marry you. You're going to be my wife. And she's just like, what? And like this and that. Nigga's a 2-pump chump. She loses her virginity to him, and he just goes like the hardest fuck he could possibly do. 1, 2, 3. Oh. And then he looks over at her. He's like, oh, I know it hurts, but we just got to keep doing it more. I'm like, no,
nigga, you need to keep doing it more because I was like, nigga, this.
You could have went a little more gently too. And
but why?
She finds out that he's actually engaged to some other popular bitch in town. And so
wait, he's got some side swamp pussy?
Yeah.
That's what she is.
Yeah, basically. And she's like, you lied to me, I don't want to see you again. And then he beats the shit out of her and starts beating the shit out of her, and is just like, yo, you're mine and you're never going to be anybody else's. And the other dude comes back to town because he ghosted her, and he's just like, yo, I'm sorry I ghosted you. I was in a bad situation, but I love you. I really love you, and I want you back. And the dude's like, oh no, this bitch is mine now. and he keeps stalking. He goes to the swamp, stalking her out, busting her house, looking for her as she's hiding in the swamp watching. And one day he finally does find her, beats the shit out of her again, and it's just like, nobody's going to have you, you're mine, and starts to rape her. And she takes,
Jesus.
Yeah, she takes, like, as soon as he's about to stick his dick in her pussy, she takes a rock and just bashes the dude's face in and runs away. And she says, if I ever see you again, I'll kill you. And some dude overheard that, and she's on trial, and the whole trial's going on, and the town's like, yeah, she did it. She did it. And the police, you know how backorder police are. If they don't like you, oh, we're setting you up. So all the evidence is fugazi, and the lawyer's David Strahan, because David Strahan
Go ahead.
He was the only one who treated her nice, even when she was a kid. Only one who cared for her besides the two black people. Because there's a point where these two black people, they run like a little thrift shop in the swamp that's popular in the town. And there's one point where the Joker looking dude walks in and he's all drunk and he's just like, hey, I know that bitch is be in here. Have you seen her? And he goes, nah, man, I haven't seen her. He's like, you lying to me, boy? And I'm like, yo, this nigga is 60 years old and you like 20. You're going to call him boy? I'm glad that wasn't me, because I would have whipped out that pistol and been like, who's the boy now, nigga? Blow!
So how many in this movie, how many niggers with the hard R were said?
0. Basically the boy was the nigger.
Boys,
because you know that's code for.
No, yeah, of course, yeah.
You lying to me, boy? And this nigga's so drunk, he's like, yo, here's a bottle of whiskey. It's on the house. Leave.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
this
what
is
happened is
January 6th, the movie.
So what happens is, homie dies because there's a tower in the swamp. There's like a lookout tower that she didn't know about, but he did. One of the grates is loose and he fixed it. Well, what happened is she rigged it. So, cause you find out at the end of the movie, she really did kill this nigga.
So she home aloned this watchtower.
Yeah, she apparently pushed him and he hit his head on the way down and he fell to his death. And the whole movie, you're on her side. Like, yeah, she's just a timid, shy girl.
Right.
Why would she kill this nigga? Like, she has every reason to, and you're just made to believe with everything she's saying that she didn't kill her. But then in the last 3 minutes, you find out, oh, she really did kill this nigga.
What a twist.
I was just like, all right, sure. I was like, sure.
Yeah. Like, I'm still going to watch it, but I don't care. I don't care about the mystery or the reveal. It just seems so batshit crazy and dumb.
Well, I'm going to, I want to make some sequels to this. I want to make a sequel where, Swamp Girl and her husband, because she eventually gets married to the dude who went away to college and came back.
Okay.
I want them to have a secret kid, and she ends up with a black dude, so that way I could produce and write a whole series of erotic thrillers. The first one will be called Where the Crawdads Sing, The Rise of Crawdaddy. That's going to be the black guy's name, Crawdaddy. It's going to be my Dolomite, my fucking, so we're going to do Crawdaddy, Where the Crawdads Sing 2,
okay.
The Rise of Crawdaddy.
All right.
Then we're going to do Big Black Crawdads, colon, Why Them Crawdads Sing. And then every one of these, I'm going to have a fake Taylor, because Taylor Swift does the song for this movie. I'm going to find a fake Taylor Swift, and she's going to be a meth head from the Ozarks, and she's going to sing the theme song for all my shit.
Yo. So, and I love how each subsequent movie's title becomes more like a porn title.
Yep. Oh, that's intentional, baby.
Until the last movie is just a fucking porn.
Oh yeah, Big Black Crawdads. That's going to be the name of the series. Big Black Crawdads. The Crawdaddy's Revenge. Crawdaddy's Revenge. The biggest, blackest crawdad.
Ah, yes.
One's just going to be called BBC. the Crawdads Sing? In theaters now.
So, so that's how this is happening. Fuck the books. This is artist interpretation.
Oh, speaking of, I just found out the week of release, the bitch who wrote the book is a fugitive in, like, I think South Africa or shit, because this book is based off of her experience. Like, she apparently really did kill somebody and got away with it.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so she wrote a whole entire book of her confession. That's like this bitch dry snitched on herself, and they made her a whole entire dry snitch, a major quote unquote motion picture.
Apparently, she's also a wild racist too.
I mean, South Africa.
But she killed a white guy, so.
Yeah, but racism knows no murder color. I don't know, but yeah. Wow. So this may be the great, like, fuck Top Gun. This may be the greatest movie saga we have this year. Where the crowd.
It's going to be my Boogie Nights. Like, I'm going to turn this series into my hybrid of Dolomite, Boogie Nights, and what was the Sweetback, Sweet Badass Song.
What was the nigga's name in fucking Boogie Nights? That the Brock.
Chess Rockwell.
Chess Rockwell. This is gonna be your Chess Rockwell series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta have a fucking make sure I find a meth head white bitch to sing the theme song for each movie.
I mean,
from the Ozarks.
We can the TikTok. We can find them.
So, where the Crawdads Sing in theaters now.
It's already been greenlit for 4 sequels.
All right, I'm gonna real quickly run through this. Rewatch Boogie Nights because my brother's never seen it, and he just saw it for the first time.
Oh, did it blow his mind?
Yo, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I forget. Rewatching it with him, I forgot how dark that fucking movie gets. Like, it is a pendulum swing of, if that movie wasn't that good, it would suck just because of the whiplash of tones, because it's a comedy until it's like a fucking depressing drama.
Until it's not.
Back to a comedy. So, rewatch No Time to Die. Liked it a little less the second time, but I still think it's a, fun, decent movie.
Right.
July 4th, because it was on Hulu, I watched Independence Day. That movie will never not slap.
100%.
Steven, I listened to some dudes talked about the production of the movie, and I listened to the episode, and Spielberg was right. Apparently Spielberg called Roland Emmerich and said, you changed blockbusters forever. Now blockbusters can never be small again. You just made them big, and they have to be on this scale, this size forever. And I'm like, he's right.
I mean, he's 100% right.
The movie changed the game.
Right, because, I mean, if you look at Jaws was the first blockbuster. You look at that compared to anything that we consider a blockbuster now, it's an indie film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Flux Gourmet. That is the new movie by Peter Strickland. It is like a horror comedy, and it pretty much satirizes the underground art world.
Okay.
Watched Lemon on the Criterion Channel. Lemon is Jazenica Bravo's first film before she did what's the movie? Zola.
Okay. All right.
It has what's this dude's name? Brett Gelman, and it's not for me. It's like it's absurdist humor.
Okay.
I watched Dick.
Which Dick? The one with Go ahead.
Yeah. Dick is with what's her face?
Mary Jane, right?
Yeah, Mary Jane Watson and Michelle Williams. Man, it's just a bunch of dick jokes with 2 clueless girls. Like, I didn't really find it funny.
I thought it had to do with. I never saw it.
It has to do with the
Richard
President
Nixon, right?
Nixon, yeah, but they call him Dick. But it's like a bunch of dick jokes.
Oh, is it? It's
Yeah. You're watching imagine Clueless, but with a political bent, and it's just nothing but dick jokes.
Yeah, I was like Kirsten Dunst, Michelle Williams, and Dan Hedaya.
Yeah. So, watched Urban Legend for the first time.
Oh, yeah?
That movie's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It is fucking stupid.
It's, when everybody was trying to get on that fucking whole entire Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, fucking...
See, Scream was subversive. I Know What You Did Last Summer is fun trash because it knows exactly what it is. And the 4K Blu-ray's coming out soon. I can't wait to cop that shit.
And I'll even give you the first two Final Destinations.
Oh, I love the first one. And, the sequels, I could take or leave. I like some of the sequels better than the others. I'll say that much.
Right.
But, yeah, this one, I was just like, oh, boy. Ooh, boy.
Didn't they make three of those Urban Legend movies?
All three are on Hulu.
Well,
And the first one, that's enough for me. Conspiracy theory. I'm filling in a blank spot with Richard Donner. This was just okay.
Yeah, it was. I
okay.
didn't like it when I first saw it, but after repeat viewings, it's still fine. But talking about, I love how you're filling in with Richard Donner. I'm on a Richard Donner sort of revival. I watched The Toy last week with Richard Pryor, and we're going to talk about that next week.
Okay. Dragged Across Concrete, I watched.
I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I love that dude's Homtar Ovure, Bone Tomahawk, and what was the other one he did?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Block Escape from Block Cell Block 8 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all right. I'm just glad spoiler, I'm glad Tory Kittles got away because fuck everybody else in that movie. I was just as long as Tory Kittles ends up okay, I'm good. And the last thing I'm going to talk about so we can move on is Runner, because that's on HBO Max. It's an hour and a half. And what a true piece of shit this is. Yeah. Justin Timberlake could have easily got out of every situation he was in. Anthony Mackie plays an FBI agent and tries to strong arm him at one point, and I'm like, you have no jurisdiction in Costa Rica, my guy. So also, I'm pretty sure you have plenty of evidence to take down Ben Affleck on your own.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake made enough money where any reasonable person would have dipped long ago before he should have.
Once you found out, I'm going to have to, do money drop-offs to corrupt officials. After he got his ass beat that first time, I'd just be like, I'm out. Yeah.
And the movie tries to be clever with everybody setting each other up and having all these fucking switcheroos and double roos. And I'm just like, all this shit was for naught. Y'all could have did so much more and getting away with it was stupid. It was just stupid. Yeah. I was just like, dude, your plan to escape all this was just not needed.
It wanted to be smarter than it actually was.
Yeah. It was written by two people who thought they were smarter than what they were, and directed by a dude who's clearly working on his first feature. And Ben Affleck just looked uninterested. He's just like,
I was bored.
Let me get this fucking paycheck.
He was like, it seemed like the director was like, hey, I really liked you in Boiler Room. Let's do that with poker.
So
online.
So that's it. That's it. Let's get into trailer talk.
Roll camera and action.
It's time for some trailer talk.
All right, so let's start off with Amsterdam.
I am so hard for this movie.
It looks fun. It looks cool. I'm surprised David O. Russell's still working after all the shit he's done to everybody and all the allegations against him.
Yeah, but I mean, clout is clout. You do a David O. Russell film, you can consider yourself an actor. You know?
I'm surprised at the end of the trailer to see in the executive producers credits it said Future and Drake were executive producers on this shit.
Future is surprising, but Drake produced fucking Top Boy.
Yeah, I know that, but like Top Boy's like street shit, and like Euphoria, Euphoria is Euphoria, so it makes sense why he'd be producer on those two projects.
Right,
but like,
doesn't David O. Russell have some hood cred? I mean,
was he? I don't know.
He Three Kings.
Yeah, that's the movie where George Clooney said if he ever sees him again, he'll kill him.
But that was a great fucking movie.
American Hustle, because Amy Adams worked with him twice, once on The Fighter and then once on American Hustle. And after American Hustle, he was just like, she said, "Oh yeah, I will never work with that piece of shit again." And even it got so bad that even Christian Bale came up to him and was like, "Yo, stop treating her like that."
I mean, I guess Silver Linings Playbook. Yeah, all right, yeah.
And his last movie was a piece of shit too.
What? Which,
Joy.
I never. Is that the one about the vacuum cleaner or something like that?
The mop.
The mop. Yeah, I never saw that.
And he casted Jennifer Lawrence in it, and you're just like, yo, Jennifer Lawrence is in her mid-20s trying to play a woman in her like late 30s, early 40s. I was just like, no.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. But well, good for Drake and Future.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to the screening for it.
Yeah.
So moving on, we'll do The Woman King.
Yo, white men are gonna be so mad at this movie.
Yeah, it looks hard. It looks
hard as fuck. I mean, honestly, the new Black Panther is going to have to surpass what this is showing us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you know what? This comes out in September, and Black Panther comes out in November, and Black Panther doesn't have even a teaser out yet. So I'm just like, ooh.
Right.
And Marvel's kind of in a creative rut where people are very divided over how they feel on this shit.
Yeah. So like the Woman King. I mean, you got Viola Davis, so automatically.
John Boyega.
Right. Already, this may eat fucking Wakanda Forever's lunch. Yeah,
so it looks hard. Shout out to Gina Prince Blythewood. I don't blame her for passing on doing the Old Guard 2 to do this.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy choice for me, too. Do I want to do a sequel, which I'm pretty sure will be good, or I could do some shit that can celebrate Black women and make it hard as fuck.
Right. A movie that's actually going to go to theaters versus a Netflix original sequel. Yeah.
So easy choice.
Yeah.
And then finally, Halloween Ends. And this is what I like about trailers, where you give me enough to entice me to get me to the theater without giving me the plot of the movie.
Yeah, this was fun. This was, we know the showdown's coming.
Yeah.
Like, for all we know, that's the fucking beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
So,
I'm excited to see how this story wraps up. And if it wraps up well, then I'm pretty sure everybody will look at Halloween Kills a little better.
Right. Like we've said that in that episode. Like, if they stick the landing, it's going to refocus. It's going to reframe everything we know about Halloween Kills.
So yeah, I'm rooting for it. Like, the last thing I want is another shit Halloween sequel, man. Like, Jamie, this is it for Jamie Lee and Laurie Strode. So I want them to go out on a high note.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the main review.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The Film Blurds feature film review.
All right, so Stranger Things, these last two episodes. So as a whole, this season was way too long.
Oh yeah, you could have cut if you didn't cut episodes, then you could have cut at least 20 minutes out of every episode, if not whole episodes.
What's funny is the Netflix people came out today and said if their budget wasn't so high, they could have gotten like another 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm just like, no. It was already too long.
Right. I'm not going to say that the last 2 episodes made the first 6 episodes worth it.
Because I don't know if it was.
I don't know if it was, but I'm pleased that at least it ended somewhat better than I anticipated.
I will say this. I think we could have got to that ending
much faster.
Getting the Upside Down into the real world and into Hawkins should have happened much sooner. And I think that's cool. That's what the last season is going to be, is like, yo, the Upside Down is invading the real world. But we took the most roundabout way to get there. And you know what? I do applaud them for trying to do something different this season. But you guys did it in, again, it was a roundabout way. Like, I don't understand why the whole season Hopper was in Russia.
Right. You could have excised all that Russia shit.
Yeah.
And not a fucking difference does it make. Honestly.
Yeah, because the 2 dudes who escaped from Russia with our main characters, they're gone in the last 30 minutes because, the last 30 minutes is honestly the best of the entire series. Like, Dakota should not be the best part of the entire season.
Right. Shout out to fucking what's his face on top of the trailer playing Metallica, fighting the bats.
Oh yeah, Eddie.
Eddie, that was fucking hard as fuck. And like, honestly, how are these side characters now more engaging than the core 5 or the core 4? You know, like the only one I'm still like, there's 2 of them I'm still honestly invested in. It's Lucas and Dustin. Those are like the only 2 I'm still like really invested in. And I see what they're trying to do with Will. Like, he's gay, which is cool. I'm glad that they're doing it, but it is the most fucking ham-fisted, just fucking shoved in there bullshit. Like that whole entire speech he had in the car, with a fucking his best friend. It felt hollow. Especially since, I don't know if you're caught up on Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah. And we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, but
I left that off just because it was too much.
Right, but I'm just saying they handled that introduction of the character being gay much more elegantly.
Wait, which character?
We'll talk about it offline then.
All right.
Yeah, but like, that's... Yeah. So, and this is the same problem I had with Umbrella Academy when it came to like unveiling Elliot to the world, Elliot Page. It just seemed like if you're gonna do it right, and don't do it just because you have to hit a demographic or you think, oh, we're going to call it edgy. Give it some poignancy. Give it some elegance. Like, I'm going to get into this next week because we didn't have time, but I'm going to get into the Umbrella Academy's ass when it came to how they handled Elliot's transition.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they should have just killed Max. Honestly, where we left her, I'm just like, you guys should have just killed her.
Yeah, I mean... And because, like, honestly, besides Barb, right, in the first season, like, we know no one's going to fucking die.
The only other person who died was Eddie.
Right. Like, I would have loved it if she had died in episode 6.
Or you mean episode 4?
Episode 4.
That's what I said. That's what I said earlier in another episode is like, yo, if you guys really wanted to, like, surprise me and pull me in, they should have killed her then. Also, they should have killed, what's my man's name with the hair?
Steve?
Played by Joe Creary. Yeah, Steve. Like, this cast is getting a little too unwieldy. Like, we have so many characters now. I'm like, I understand they said this is not Game of Thrones, but like, it's time to sunset some of these characters.
Right. And like, I know it's not Game of Thrones, but you're also dealing with demons from another universe. The body count should be much higher.
Yeah.
And then we have talking about just bloat, the whole entire evil general hunting down 11. Did we really?
That went nowhere.
That went nowhere. Either excise it or just execute it fucking better. Like, this season is so fucking bloated. And don't tell me that you're setting up for the final season. That's fucking lazy.
Like, the coolest thing in the season happened in the last episode was the piggyback. I thought that was a cool little way to get 11 back into the game. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not going to say it was worth. Like, I'm not going to see the first part of the season was worth it to get to here, but it is. Yeah, I'm not going to even say they stuck the landing.
No, because it's 2.5 hours. That last episode was way too long.
Right? But I'm just going to say that it was the first half of the season did not indicate to me that I was going to enjoy the second half of the season.
I also want to say this was not worth $30 million an episode. I don't know where the budget for this went. Game of Thrones has done much bigger stuff with half. Think about that. Half.
The last 2 episodes, maybe. I'll give you last 2 episodes, $30 million an episode. Okay. You can have that. But all that other shit leading up to here, fuck, if you can't do that for $10 million.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is just motherfuckers in rooms.
Yeah. 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 And the way they beat Vecna's kind of anticlimactic, just because they talk about him off screen like, oh, he's still alive. And I'm just like, I would rather see that than have a bunch of y'all just say this shit.
Right. You know, like, it's. Look, I hope Netflix tightens the belt, both financially and creatively, in the season 5.
Well, the Duffers has said season 5 will be much shorter than season 4, and I'm like, thank God.
It's got no choice to be shorter than this last season.
Yeah, because this is it. Like, y'all, I mean, if y'all going past 6, like, you could wrap this show up in 6 episodes. Like, there's no reason why this season 5 should be more than 6 episodes.
Right. And then you can do your fucking little offshoots. You can fucking look, if The Boys has spinoffs coming, you know, why not Stranger Things?
Well, they said they already have spinoffs in the pipeline.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but like after Stranger Things is done, like it's like Game of Thrones with me, where it's like I've had enough of this universe.
Right.
I don't really want to explore it more.
Yeah. When is the new Game of Thrones coming out? That's this weekend?
Next month.
Next month? Yeah, I'm not excited for that at all.
Next month. They dropped a trailer today for that, actually.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it. It's like, all right, cool.
We do have to review for next episode, because we forgot about it, they dropped the trailer for the Lord of the Rings show.
Okay. All right.
And while that does look expensive, I don't know $1 billion. Like, it looks like it costs like $50 million an episode, but not no $1 billion a whole season.
I mean, how many episodes? I don't know, man. Like, I remember in the old days when a TV show, you know, used to cost $1 million an episode.
Even less than that. That was one of the appeals of those old, like, Mantis and the OG Flash, was how cheap they were, just because it was TV and they couldn't get away with what they wanted to do, so they made the best of what they could. It was corny, but that was the appeal of it.
Right.
Like, even Buffy and Angel, they got ambitious, but like
no way would you, like, I can't imagine with the bloat that's going on right now in television, and like especially like genre television, like, you couldn't get away with telling me that you're spending $30 million an episode on a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode.
I'm going to be real with you. There's some episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that have more effects and more action than some of these Stranger Things episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's get a Buffy the Vampire Slayer revival.
Oh, they're already working on it.
Are they? Are they just going to, is it a hard reboot, or are they going to like?
Oh, yeah, hard reboot. You know, they already said Joss is nowhere near it, and they said Buffy will be black.
Okay. like they tried that with Charmed. I haven't watched any of those. Good on them. Just don't make her black just to make her black.
I don't. Buffy is such a white name too. Like I don't know what black person would name their daughter Buffy. That is a white name,
right? Unless like it's a Valley girl. Like if they take Stacey Dash's character from Clueless, and that's the Buffy archetype, maybe.
Oh yeah, well Stacey, that's a whole.
That's a whole other mess thing. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get into Nope.
All right, here we go.
So, this is Jordan Peele's version of a summer blockbuster. I went in, just had seen the first trailer because I wanted to go in fresh because that first trailer was just enough for me, and it is not what I expected, and that's what I wanted. I have a feeling a lot of people won't like this because they're going to be expecting something else entirely.
Okay.
This is his version of a Spielberg movie. Like, this is definitely Close Encounters mixed with Jaws, just because it has the suspense of Jaws, the alien ship. It moves like the shark from Jaws.
A word?
Yeah. Okay. So that it builds suspense. Like it has tinges of horror. I know Jordan said this is a horror movie. It's not a horror movie. I would say it's a sci-fi thriller.
Okay.
My two complaints, my two gripes with it is I think there's one character's backstory that's in here that just feels like filler, and we honestly didn't need that. And the other thing is sometimes the dialogue was a little hard to hear.
Was that the theater, or you think that's the mix?
I think that's just the theater.
Okay.
And I've noticed that whenever I see press screenings at that theater, either the sound's perfect, like it was for Dune, or the sound is a little off. And they usually fix it by release date. Okay. So I imagine when I go see it again this weekend, the sound will be perfect. So there's they've been pushing this ever since they released that first poster last summer. Because even on the poster, it says shot on IMAX film cameras. Mm. And throughout the first act, you get glimpses of IMAX. Like there'll be certain shots in IMAX. And so when you get to the first real IMAX sequence in this movie, because there's like about an hour in IMAX, it's used so effectively because you're just like, oh, fuck. You're like, oh, shit is about to get real.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick synopsis of Nope. Nope is about the Haywood children, which is Daniel Kula and Keke Palmer. Daniel Kula is Otis Jackson Jr., a.k.a. OJ, and Keke Palmer is Emerald Jackson, and they are basically taking over the Haywood Hollywood Ranch, where they rent out horses to be used on film sets, and they're trying to, Keke is your everyday black girl. She's loud. She don't know when to be quiet. She kind of fucks shit up. And OJ's kind of like introverted, and he has to take over the family business, and it's floundering. Like it really is floundering, and they're trying to do their best. And their dad died because some mysterious shit is happening, and come to find out, they're like fucking aliens. But it's not what you think.
Okay.
So there's certain parts of this movie where I heard the audience gasp, and I was just like, I was right there with them, like, yo. And there's a part where I don't want to spoil it, but there's a part where a creature pops up, and everybody in the theater, because the theater was mostly black people, and I loved seeing it with a black audience. When this creature popped up, everybody just went, nope, like loudly, like nope. And I was just like, and as soon as everybody said that, Daniel Kula said it too. He's just like, yeah, nope. And there's one part where he punches one of the creatures, And we all started laughing just because the way it happens, because everybody gasped, because he turns around and there's one of the creatures and they're just like, and then you just see him go, "Dow!" Just real quick, right to the dome. I'm not going to spoil those creatures because that's a fun little reveal. And again, not what you think it is.
All right.
But yeah, every time something crazy happens, they act like black people where they're just like, yeah, nah, fuck this.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right. So we've talked about this before. I don't have issues with Jordan Peele. I just have issues with some of the hype behind him, especially off of his last film. But like now hearing you say this, I'm kind of really excited for this shit. Like maybe this may be the movie that puts me in like firmly in Jordan Peele camp.
This is going to be divisive, but to me, this is my type of movie, and this is what I wish we would get more of, because this is a summer blockbuster. It is a summer blockbuster for adults. There's language throughout, but to me, what really makes an adult movie is the violence, because when the violence happens, it is pretty fucking hardcore. The use of IMAX, he does a couple of Spielberg wonders with it.
Okay.
And the way the camera moves, I was just like, bro, M. Night used to do this perfectly, and he's doing it better here because he's building suspense better here than what M. Night did after Unbreakable. Like, after Unbreakable, M. Night, I like his movies up into a certain point, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I like Signs up into a certain point. I like The Village up until the reveal of the twist of The Village.
Right.
When it's revealed what's going on with the aliens, I'm still all in, just because I was just like, it was something me personally as a storyteller, I would never think of. It was something new. We haven't seen this type of alien story told this way before. And I was just like,
and that's all I want, man.
Man.
All I want is fucking originality. Like as students of the game, we can look at a movie as like, all right, this is going to happen. This has to happen. This has to happen. But for someone to fucking surprise us.
Yeah.
That's all I fucking want.
And
that's
then like
all I want.
The last 20 minutes, you just feel the tension, and the last 20 minutes becomes like a straight up Western. And the tension just ratchets up where you're just like, man, how's this movie going to resolve itself? Because these are just regular ass niggas.
Yo, I can't. All right.
So I want to give a shout out to Michael Wincott, aka Top Dollar. It's good to see him back. I would like to say Brandon Piera. He's a new actor. He's going to eat off of this. Like, people are going to go see this and be like, oh, and who's especially going to eat off of this is Kiki. Like, Daniel got blown up off of Jordan's first film, Get Out, and rightfully so. But for this one, like, Kiki's going to be eaten.
Okay, because Kiki was already on her way anyway.
Yeah. And so she's now in two of my favorite films of the years. This one and Lightyear. And this was my I had two anticipated films of the year. It was this and Killers of the Flower Moon, which is Scorsese's Western. This lived up to my expectations. Is it my favorite film of the year? No, absolutely not. Like, this is probably my third favorite film, but that's still
top five.
It's very rare that we get a blockbuster, a hard R blockbuster for adults on this scale with this budget that's completely new. Like, the only other person who could do this is Nolan.
Right.
So I'm just praying to God that this movie does well this weekend, so that way, like, we can have the black Christopher Nolan with Jordan Peele. Because the one thing I always take to heart from Jordan is on the last press tour when he was doing Us, somebody asked him, like, hey, would you ever make a film with a white lead character? And he's like, no. My characters will always be black, whether female or male, for the lead roles, because I've already seen the movie with a white male lead. Those movies get made every day. I'm in a position where I can have black people be the heroes of the movie. And that is where I want to be. I want to be shooting on IMAX, telling stories like this where I can pull the audience in and surprise them and give them something completely unexpected. You may not fuck with it, but I gave you something unexpected, and I gave you a big spectacle, a big IMAX quality, immersive, movie
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I just love the use of IMAX in this. There's one part where the camera goes past Keke Palmer out of the window, and once it goes out of the window, the aspect ratio just opens up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Hotome, he did a great job. I was just like, man, you could tell dude cared. Like, this dude was shooting this movie like he was shooting a Nolan movie. Because, he's Nolan's go-to DP.
Right, right.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this again, because this is something I'm going to say this about. I say this a lot on this podcast, and I'm going to keep saying it. There's some movies you have to see twice. And this, to me, is a movie you have to see twice. Like, I digested a lot of it, but there's still more that maybe I might get on my second viewing.
And that's a testament to a really good movie, that on repeat viewings you're getting new shit from it. You're getting like you're seeing different things, and that's art, right? Yeah. You can look at a Rembrandt 5 different times, and on the 6th time, you'll notice something that you never noticed before, and it just deepens your appreciation for it.
What I love about this too is I got to briefly talk to Jordan Peele, very briefly, and listening to him say, like, I made this movie because at the point in time he was writing it, it was during the lockdown, and we were all pretty sure like this was the end of movie theaters. So he said, if movie theaters open back up, I want to give you a big spectacle movie. And he said, I wrote a movie I knew I couldn't make. He's like, I had no idea how to make this movie. My other 2 movies were small movies.
Right.
Now I'm jumping into the world of big IMAX blockbuster. I don't know how to do this. And he surrounded himself with people who could help him make this, specifically Hotome. And he wanted Hotome not only for his experience with using IMAX, but he's a fan of Homeboy's work.
Right, right.
How can you not be? The dude's made like some of the most beautiful images ever. Like, I honestly wish Hotome was working with Nolan from the jump. Like, no offense to Wally Fitzer, but imagine how much better like Inception would have looked with Hotome, or the Dark Knight trilogy would have looked with Hotome.
Right.
But yeah, he said he wanted to make a big spectacle movie, and that's what because every movie of his has a social commentary, and that's the social commentary on this movie is our addiction to blockbusters and big spectacles, and how like the entertainment industry just chews you up and spits you out for spectacle.
Right. It's not we're making consumables. We're not making art anymore. Yeah. We're making products.
Yeah,
and said this a million times.
And that's what I loved about this movie too, is he even said, he's like, that's the commentary that's there. And if you don't get it, that's fine, because I made this movie for, if you want to sit down and watch a cool sci-fi horror movie, you can do that. If you want to go smoke a blunt and just come in and just zone out and watch this and enjoy yourself, you can. And I was like, all right, cool. That's what I loved about this movie. And I just, real quick before we go, I just want to say thank you to Universal and Monkey Paw for hooking up this screening, because y'all went all out. We had fucking hors d'oeuvres, like fucking little hamburgers, little fucking like barbecue chicken sliders. We had fucking little tacos. They gave away all this swag. We had free popcorn, free slushies, free water, free soda.
It was a fucking date.
Yeah, bro. This shit, they hooked it up. There's a dude, and I got to promote the podcast to a lot of black people there. Like, hey, how are you here? Oh, I do this. I'm like, yeah, how you here? Oh, I'm pressed for a podcast. Oh, cool. What's your podcast name? I was like, it's the Film Blurs. We're ignorant. And they looked up. Everybody started subscribing. I was like, oh, fuck, man.
All right. Good shit.
I sat next to a dude who was, he was there to be seen.
Okay.
I meet this dude. I talk to him because we were sitting next to each other. He seemed cool at first, and then the movie starts.
Right.
Motherfucker's on his Apple Watch. He gets up, starts crossing over me.
Uh-huh.
He crossed over me 3 times to go take a call on his Apple Watch because, you can't use your phone.
Right.
He would fucking chew loudly, open mouth on his popcorn. Finished his popcorn, went outside to go get another free popcorn, came back.
So he's on some straight niggerish shit.
came back. There's one part of the movie where a character's life was in danger, and fortunately they make it out of that situation, but it's not like really triumphant. You're just like, oh, I'm glad that's over. You know what? You know what this nigga does?
What does it do?
Starts clapping, going, woo, yeah, woo. And I'm looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And everybody else is looking around to see who's doing that. Some people look at me, and I'm like, yo, it's not me.
I'm just sitting next to him.
And the part he clapped at, imagine clap. You know when Leo kills the bear in The Revenant?
Yeah. Imagine
clapping and cheering at that part.
I was like, well, yeah, I mean, he won, but did he really win? Because
exactly. It's not something where you're going to be sitting there clapping and cheering. I was just like, are you mentally like unwell?
It's like you said, he wanted to be seen. Like some motherfuckers just go out. It's like they got to show their ass and show how important they are. To be like, I had the same fucking thing at the screening for the last Jurassic Park or Jurassic whatever World movie. There was this dude who was just so fucking loud for no fucking reason, just because he wanted to let people know he existed.
Well, one last thing about this dude before I move on. They play I Wear My Sunglasses at Night at a crucial part, and the tempo of the song slows down because, you know, aliens are about to come and fuck shit up.
Right.
This nigga, I wear my sunglasses, and I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
No, come on, man. Let's have some decorum, like respect.
And I found it because, you know, we had to use when tweeting about this, we had to use the hashtag Nope Night. So I started looking at the hashtag, a lot of black people, a lot of black influencers, a lot of black people who are just in the game. And I'm like, this makes me happy. I find this nigga's Twitter profile.
Okay.
15 followers.
Yo, how did he get an invite?
That's what I'm saying, because he asked me, he's like, how did you get in here? I'm like, I'm pressed. He's like, oh, really? You're pressed? He's like, you got a podcast? Can I come on your podcast? And now after that,
I have, like, God,
hell no.
I hate what the going on your podcast. Is like, what do you do?
And so, I'll read off the tweet that by the way, he was bragging about all the movies he's seen at that IMAX theater and bragging about how he bought a whole row out for this movie to see it with his friends. This is what he tweeted out. By the way, two likes on Twitter. He tags the Nope profile in this. Good movie, not Jordan Peele's best. It can wait for home release. The trailers ruined the suspense. The movie needed to stay interesting. 3 out of 5 stars. One positive is the 1.43 aspect ratio in IMAX. IMAX or bust for this movie. Also, J. Cole gave me a hard pound. Yeah, J. Cole gave everybody a hard dap who noticed him, but he came in pretty incognito, and we all tried not to blow up his spot because, you know, you don't want to blow up the nigga's spot.
Right, he's there to watch.
Cool. He's very cool and very patient with his fans who did realize him. Like, hey, man, gave him a dap and kept it moving.
So you're gonna have to text me this dude's Twitter profile so I can see, because I got this vision of him in my head.
He is a slightly skinnier version of me as a Latino.
That is a look.
So
that is a look.
And he doesn't wear glasses, and he doesn't have dreads like I do. But Grace Randolph was there.
A word?
Yeah, and there's a critic friend of mine who didn't get invited to the Monday screening because the Monday screening was on the real IMAX. And if you guys have a real IMAX near you, go see it. Even if you have a fake IMAX, go on IMAX. Like, see this movie absolutely on IMAX. It's meant for IMAX. My boy who goes to the screenings, you met him. I don't want to say his name.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So, he knows Grace. He talks to Grace every once in a while, and he stopped talking to Grace. And I told him about what happened at the Kingsman screening. And he says, yes, she does that a lot. And I was like, oh, word? And he said, yeah. And I stopped fucking with her because at one screening, she tried to fleece me out of popcorn because she claimed she left her wallet at home.
Oh, word.
So not only does this chick try to take advantage of people, but she also lies, because I'll never forget her getting to a whole, Kathy Yan, she did Birds of Prey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She got into a whole Twitter exchange for a whole day with Kathy Yang, because Kathy, and by the way, she's always wrong. She always has inside scoops, and they're always wrong.
Right, right.
There's some pedophilia shit that she claimed was in the movie, and Kathy Yan had to come out and be like, yo, that wasn't in my movie. And then Grace is like, no, you're wrong, because my people told me. And she's like,
bitch, I made the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, how are you going to argue with somebody who made the movie?
Right.
So, yeah, for those of you listening, and I'm going to post this to, go ahead.
Do we want to give her any more, like, fucking, are we talking about Grace? Or
No.
Okay.
I'm wrapping up here.
Okay.
For those of you who are going to go see Nope and who go see it in IMAX, I have some stuff to give away. So go see Nope, go see it in IMAX, post a picture of you and your ticket stub in front of the IMAX theater. Get creative with it, get cool with it, get crazy. The post that I like, you could send it to us on Instagram or Twitter. We will post them to Instagram and Twitter. You will win some prizes. I got a couple of things to give away.
All right, look at us.
So shout out to IMAX, shout out to Universal, shout out to Monkey Paw. Guys, please make this movie a hit, because like it's very rare we get a black movie on this scale, this size. You know what I mean? And right, I don't want Christopher Nolan to be the only one in the blockbuster game making original movies like this.
Yeah, so
don't let this flop. Will this movie convince you? If you don't fuck with Jordan Peele, I don't think this movie is going to convince you that you fuck with Jordan Peele. But it's very different from Get Out. It's very different from Us. This is definitely a filmmaker who's stretching his wings and going out of his comfort zone, and he pulled it off. To make the leap from Us to this is pretty crazy. So he made a successful leap to blockbuster better than Robert Eggers, and that's no shade to Robert Eggers.
Right. So like I'm excited. Like I'm anticipating this one. Like
I can't wait to see it again. That's episode 53.
We're the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.